Hi everyone, just a couple quick things that are different in this particular module. One is a difference that you have seen before, and one that actually is something new. So let's go ahead and start with the lecture material folder first. And just like I did with biodiversity a couple of weeks ago, this week there is no specific lecture that I am giving. Instead, what I have is I have a whole list of videos that I would like you to watch, and they're very short. Each video is only usually less than 5 minutes, so between, I'd say, 3 and 5 minutes. And what's really great about these videos is they are specific to all of the different types of sources of energy. So week 11 is all about focusing on energy. We're going to be looking at both traditional types of energy, so those types of energy that we're probably very familiar with, so coal and oil and natural gas and nuclear. We refer to these all as non-renewable sources of energy because in order to use these, we need some sort of source, something that comes from the earth that we can't get more of. So again, either coal or oil or a mineral or whatever it happens to be. On the flip side of that, we have what are referred to as the renewable sources of energy. And these are energy sources that potentially could be used in perpetuity, meaning, years and years and years and years and years. I don't want to quite say forever, but for a very long time. And the reason is because all of these sources of energy rely on something that is renewable, some power source that we can use over and over and over again. So we have solar, we have wind, we have geothermal, we have um, uh, hydroelectric. I was going to call it water energy. That's not it. Hydroelectric. So all of these things have their own individual short videos. So what I would like you to do this week is I would like you to watch these videos. And again, they're short, between 2 and 3 minutes. I think that the longest one might be close to 4 minutes, but it gives you a really nice overview of what the energy source is and how it works. So that's what we're doing for lecture this week. I still do have notes, just as I previously have done before, and there also is a reading, of course. This week there are two different practice quizzes. One practice quiz has to do with non-renewable sources of energy, and the other practice quiz has to do with renewable sources of energy. So remember, these practice quizzes are nice ways to get yourself ready for the exam. So if you're looking for an extra way to study this week or in preparation of the exam the following week, know that you can go ahead and go through these practice quizzes. And again, it's sort of a good way to remind you of the information, especially from some of the modules we've covered. It's been a few weeks since we've talked about those topics. It's a good way to refresh your memory. So moving on to lab this week. This week's lab is a simulation again. This simulation is like the carbon simulator that we did, so there shouldn't be any issues with accessing the simulator. I know sometimes in previous weeks when I did the drinking water one, for example, that used a flash extension, and not everybody was able to use that because of that flash extension. This energy lab uses the same technology that the carbon simulator did several weeks ago, so it's through basically the same group that did the carbon lab. They also do an energy lab. So I will have a separate specific video that goes through the energy simulator, just like I did the carbon simulator. And again, kind of a similar thing that we're looking at. We're looking at trying to meet the world's energy needs. In this case, we're looking at different energy types. So how much coal should we use? How much oil should we use? How much renewables should we use, and what the overall impact is on the environment of those choices that we're making. You'll also notice that this week there's no lab quiz. No lab quiz this week, because last week we just did the video where we watched the video and we answered the questions. There wasn't anything really that could be pulled out of that to make a quiz out of. I guess I could have pulled something together, but I just said, nah, let's not worry about it this week. So there is no lab quiz this week. So that's kind of, again, the other difference for this particular module. So we have separate energy videos that I'd like you to watch to learn about sources of renewable and non-renewable energy. This week lab, we have a traditional lab, but we don't have a lab quiz. Your assignments, once again, are the check-in and the discussion question. So this is the last week that we're going to do a posted question that you respond to. So starting after our next exam, exam 2, we're going to start to do something a little bit different for discussion. I'll talk about it more in our week 13 overview, but basically what we're going to do is we're going to start sort of bringing in topics based on articles and things that we're finding online. So topics that interest you, be like, oh, I found this really great article. It was in the Chicago Tribune, and it was about how parts of the city of Chicago are fighting back against, all of these polluting companies in their communities, and they're looking for sort of fighting for justice, that whole environmental justice that we talked a little bit about, which we're going to talk a little bit about more in a few weeks. So the idea here is that in a couple weeks from now, rather than there being a question that's posted that you're going to respond to, instead what you're going to do is you're going to find some sort of article online, something topical about what we've been discussing, and you're going to summarize it for everybody and say, oh, I think this was important because. So it's going to take a slightly different approach or tone in a couple weeks, but I still do have a traditional discussion question for you for this week 11. And then once again, I still have the exam study guides posted here, as well as the study session sign up. So again, I hope to hold 2 study sessions. I didn't quite have enough interest for 3 study sessions the previous time around. If there's more people interested, I certainly can host that 3rd session. But for right now, we're going to aim for 2 sessions. It's, again, just a quick sign up again. So your name, dates you'd be available, and times that work best for you. And once again, I'm going to try to coordinate those either the week before the exam, which would be the end of this week, week 11, or it would be the beginning of the following week. That's sort of the idea. So that does it for our overview for week 11. As always, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Please don't forget to do your surveys, right? So I sent out information in the emails recently about earning some extra credit for those surveys, and also the opportunity to be entered into a raffle for gift cards if your section has the most students who respond to that survey. So again, really quick and easy to get to. Just click on the SOI course survey link right here, and you can complete that and earn yourself a few extra points. Thanks, everybody.